Hello students, today we will start with chapter number 4, measure of dispersion. Now first of all, what do you mean by dispersion? Dispersion, if we take in simple meaning, that is to disperse, right? So in short we can say that how far our observations are scattered or dispersed from the mean or central tendency. Mean in our third chapter we have studied it in detail. Fine. So we can say that dispersion is a measure which shows how far the observations of the data are scattered from the measure of average, that is from the central tendency, how far the measures are scattered. So we can say that it is a very precise measure of variation of population observations, right? And according to the definition given, it is the degree to which numerical data tend to spread about an average value. So it is called a variation or dispersion of the data. The few characteristics of dispersion, we can say that the definition of measure of dispersion, it should be very clear and unambiguous, and it should be very simple to understand and very easy to calculate. The calculation should be very easy and we should be able to understand it easily. Second thing, that is the dispersion, it should be based on all the observations of our data. Whatever the data is given to you, it should be based on all the observations of the data. Apart from it, it should be suitable for the further algebraic as well as statistical calculation, and it should be a stable measure. Second thing, that is it should not get affected by very large or small observations. So dispersion, that is how far the observations are scattered from the mean or average. Now it is divided in two types, that is absolute measure of dispersion and relative measure of dispersion. So in short, if you want to remember what do you mean by absolute measure of dispersion, so we can say that whenever your things or data are expressed in the same unit, so that is your absolute measure of dispersion, and the data which is free from unit, that is your relative dispersion. First, absolute dispersion. So absolute dispersion, we can say it is a measure of dispersion which is expressed in the same unit of observation of the data. Means in whichever unit our data is given, in the same unit we are measuring or we are expressing our absolute dispersion. For example, if our data is given in kg or it is given in centimeters, kilogram, rupees, whatever unit it is given, that same unit we are expressing our absolute dispersion. So this absolute dispersion, as it is expressed in the same unit, it becomes easy to compare two or more data. Now relative dispersion. So relative dispersion, as it is free from unit, so what we can say, that it is a measure of dispersion which is free from the unit of measurement. So that is called relative dispersion. And this relative measure we can use for comparing the dispersion of observation of two or more data which are having different units, right? So whenever your data is given in the different units, so that time this relative dispersion is used for comparison. Relative measure of dispersion, it is also known as coefficient of dispersion, and it is the ratio of your absolute dispersion to the average measure. Now four measure of dispersions are there, that is range, quartile deviation, mean deviation and standard deviation. And range, it is denoted by capital R. Quartile deviation, it is denoted by capital Q and small d, quartile deviation. Mean deviation, it is denoted by capital M and capital D, that is mean deviation, and standard deviation is denoted by small s, right? This all we will discuss when we will come one by one on their exercise, right? Now first measure of dispersion, that is range. The formula is xh minus xl. So we can say that is the difference between the highest and the lowest observation of the data is called range, and it is denoted by capital R, right? That is the difference between the highest observation minus lowest observation of the data, that is your range. It is denoted by capital R. Range is a positional average. Now coefficient of range. Coefficient of range, it is also known as relative range. And the formula for calculating coefficient of range is highest value minus lowest value upon highest value plus lowest value. That is highest value of the data minus lowest value of the data divided by highest value of the data plus lowest value of your data. So highest value we denoted by xh, lowest value we denoted by xl, right? So xh minus xl upon xh plus xl. Now as we know that xh minus xl is what? It is our range. So we can also write down this formula as xh minus xl, will write down r, that is our range, divided by xh plus xl. So that is our relative range or coefficient of range. Now 4 measures of dispersions. So measure of dispersion on the basis of positional measure. Positional measure, that is they are based on the position of the data, or we can say they are these measures, they depend on the position of the observations of the data arranged in increasing order of their magnitudes, whereas measures based on deviation. So mean deviation and standard deviation, they are the measure of dispersion. They represent the summary of deviation of observations from the measure of central tendency. So first, positional measures, that is range. So range, it is based on extreme observation. Extreme observation means highest and lowest. So what we call, that are the extreme observation, extreme corner, highest observations and lowest observations. So range is based on highest and lowest observation. Now we studied about the coefficient of range. So here coefficient of range, the formula we saw, right? Now here, if our coefficient of range for a population or data, it is small, so we can say that the variability is less in the observation of the population. That is, they are not far from each other. But if our coefficient of range, it is high, so we can say that the variability is more in the observation of the population, like the values of the observations are very far from each other. Now second one, positional average measure, that is quartile deviation. So quartile deviation, we can say that it is based on the central 50% observation. Formulas and that all, when exercise will come, that time we will see. So based on central 50% observation means what? Your Q1, Q3, we are finding quartiles, right? So it is based on that. So quartile deviation is based on central 50% observation, and it is the value which is obtained by dividing the difference between third quartile, that is Q3, and the first quartile divided by 2, that is Q3 minus Q1 divided by 2, and it is denoted by QD, and it is also known as semi-interquartile range. Now here in quartile division we are using Q1 and Q3 for the calculation, and that is middle 50% of the observations, they are arranged in increasing order for the quartile deviation, and the formula for calculating quartile deviation is Q3 minus Q1 divided by 2. Now measures of based on deviation, that is mean deviation and standard deviation. Now as we have seen that these two are not using all the observation of the data. Range is taking highest and lowest observation, quartile deviation, that is central 50% of the observation. Now in mean deviation, now that is the limitation of range and quartile deviation, that they are not using all the observation and they do not show the variation of the observation from the average. So this limitation we can overcome by measure of dispersion, right, which is known as mean deviation. Here the difference between the value of the observation and its mean is known as deviation. That is, in mean deviation, what do? We take the deviation from the mean of all the observation. So all the observations are also included in the calculation, and this deviation can be negative, 0 or positive, and the sum of all these deviations will always be 0. Here we are taking the absolute value and negative sign we are ignoring, right? So the mean of the absolute deviation of the observation of the data from its mean, it is called mean deviation. And the last one is standard deviation. That is, it is based on squared deviation from the mean. That is the deviation which we calculated for mean deviation. Square of that we are calculating for finding the standard deviation. So we have seen 4 measure of dispersion, 2 positional, 2 measure based on deviation. That is, first 2 range and quartile deviation. They do not take into consideration all the observation. Range is based on extreme observation, whereas quartile deviation is based on the central 50% observation. That is, it considers Q1 and Q3. Whereas these 2 mean deviation and standard deviation, they are based on the deviation from the average, that is mean. So it is, we are taking absolute value, that is negative sign we are ignoring in this mean deviation, and standard deviation, square of the deviation which we find, right? In detail, whenever the exercise will come, again one time it will be revised. Now we are starting with the exercise 4.1, which is based on the formula of range. So range, that is XH minus XL, highest observation minus lowest observation, and coefficient of range or relative range, that is highest value minus lowest value upon highest value plus lowest value. Or you can use this formula directly, that is range upon XH plus XL, H for highest observation, L for lowest observation. This is your exercise 4.1 in your textbook. This 4 sums we are solving today. Exercise 4.1, first sum. The following data refer to the height in centimeters of 10 students of a class. Find range and coefficient of range of height of the students. Now here height is given of 10 students and it is given in centimeters. What we have to find? We have to find the range of height of the students, right? Now first of all, for range, what is our formula? Range is equal to highest observation minus lowest observation. That is, we need highest observation and lowest observation. So here in our sum, XH, highest observation is 185, and XL, that is lowest observation is 145. Unit here compulsory you have to write. XH we got, XL we got. Now we'll replace or we'll put these things in formula. So range is equal to XH minus XL. XH is 185 minus XL is 145 centimeter. So that is equal to, my range is 40 centimeter. Now here we have to find range and coefficient of range. So coefficient of range is equal to, what is our formula? XH minus XL upon XH plus XL, or we can directly write R upon XH plus XL. Any formula you can use. Answer will come same. Now range we found. What is range? 40. Now XH plus XL. XH is 185 plus XL is 145. That is equal to 40 divided by, now 185 plus 145 is equal to 330. Now 40, when you will divide it by 330, you will get your answer, or you will get your coefficient of range, that is equal to 0.12. Now we'll go to second question. Second question. A bus company has 77 buses for traveling in the city. The information of number of passengers in bus on a particular day at a particular time is given below. We have to find the range and coefficient of range of number of passenger. Both we have to find, that is range and coefficient of range. Now first of all, here as discrete data is given, so we have to see our highest and lowest number of observations. So highest observations, we have to calculate about number of passengers. So number of passenger column we will see. Now in number of passengers column, what is the highest number of passengers which are traveling in a bus? 37. And what are the lowest number or minimum passengers traveling in a bus? That is 2. Right. Now XH, that is maximum number or maximum passengers traveling in a bus, that is 37. And XL, that is minimum passengers traveling in a bus, that is 2. First of all, we will calculate range of number of passengers. Formula we know, that is range is equal to XH minus XL. So that is 37 minus 2. That is equal to 35 passengers. So R is equal to 35 passengers. Now we will find out coefficient of range. So coefficient of range formula, R upon XH plus XL. Now what is our R? 35. And XH is 37, XL is 2. So 37 plus 2. That is equal to 35 divided by 39. Now 35 and we'll divide it by 39. We'll get our answer as 0.90. So that is our coefficient of range. Question number 3. Using the following frequency distribution of marks of students of a school, find range and relative range of the marks. Now marks and number of students are given to you. So marks, that is 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50 class are given, and number of students is given, right? We have to find out range and relative range of marks. So first of all, we will see which is our last class, 70 to 80, and in that what is the upper limit of last class? 80. So that will be our XH. And first class we have to see, and we have to see the lower limit of the first class or initial class. So that is 20. So XH and XL. Now XH, that is upper limit of the last class, 70 to 80. So 70 to 80 upper limit is 80. So that is our XH. And XL is equal to lower limit of the initial class, 20 to 30. So what is the lower limit? 20. So our XL is 20. Now range of marks of students we will find out. R is equal to XH minus XL. XH we got 80 minus XL is 20. So that is range is equal to 60 marks. Now we'll find out coefficient of range. So coefficient of range is equal to R upon XH plus XL. Now what is our value of R? That is 60. 60 divided by XH plus XL, that is 80 plus 20. This is XH plus XL. 60 divided by 100. That is equal to, now 60 when you will divide it by 100, so you will get your answer as 0.60. So my coefficient of range is equal to 0.60. Now the last question, that is question number 4. The frequency distribution of daily income in 1000 rupees of 80 shops of an area is as follows. Find the absolute and the relative measure. Now no need to get confused in this. Absolute and the relative measure of range of daily income from it. Now I already told you that coefficient of range is also known as relative measure, and absolute range, that is your normal range which you are finding, right? So here also we have to calculate the same thing, range and coefficient of range. Daily income is given in 1000 rupees and number of shops. We have to find out daily income. So again we will look here. First or initial class, that is 5 to 9, so lower limit is 5. And last class 30 to 34, what is the upper limit? 34. So XH and XL. Now XH, that is upper limit of the last class, 30 to 34. So what is the upper limit? 34. XL, that is lower limit of the initial class, 5 to 9. So lower limit is 5. Now first of all we will calculate absolute measure of range, that is range is equal to XH plus XH minus XL. So that is XH is 34 minus 5. That is your range is equal to 29,000 rupees, 29,000. Now we will find out coefficient of range. Now coefficient of range formula is R upon XH plus XL. What is value of R? That is 29. XH plus XL, that is 34 plus 5. 34 plus 5. So 29 divided by 39. So 29 divided by 39, that will give you 0.74. So my coefficient of range or relative range, as mentioned in your question, relative range of age is 0.74.